Thanks to the Kentwood Hills cheerleaders for welcoming us back to 13 on Your Sidelines. Montague and Whitehall is one of West Michigan's oldest and most evenly matched rivalries.
These teams have been crossing White Lake to face each other since the early 1900s. Whitehall had won 2 straight against the Wildcats coming into tonight's battle for the bell. Late third quarter, Whitehall on the 15. Kyle Stratton corrals the high snap, steps up in the pocket, and finds Trenton Tenbrock for the touchdown. That makes it 28-0 Vikes. 15 seconds left in the third. Montague with the ball. Mason Dark throws it up, and it's picked off by Everett Napier, and that ends up being a pick 6. Whitehall goes up 35-0. Fourth quarter now. Mason Dark back to pass again, but it's picked off by guess who? Everett Napier, his second of the night. That would bring it to the 40 to secure the victory. Whitehall keeps the bell for the third straight year with the 35-0 shutouts over Montague.
Back in 2015, Forest Hills Eastern made it all the way to the state semifinals. That year was also the last time the Hawks beat South Christian.
Matt Gart was there tonight to see if Eastern could break their 7-game skid against the Sailors.
Guys, the Hawks are 3-0, and they have been rolling everybody so far, but it's also safe to say South Christian is FHE's biggest test yet. The Hawks were down 26-21 at half. In the third, they were facing 4th and 11. Jackson Arnold scrambles, finds some room, tosses to Sam Metcalf, and FHE converts. Arnold would score later on the drive, 29-26 Hawks, but the Sailors would strike back. It's Carson Viss going to the air, finding Jake Vermas for a 34-yard gain that gets it down to the 10, and then Viss is going to take it himself for the score. That makes it 32-29 at the end of the third quarter. Hawks try some trickeration on this next play. Arnold laterals to Max Farrick. He finds Drew Patton all alone. Check that out. 47 yards to put FHE in prime position. But later on the drive, Arnold is going to get picked. We want the funk. It's Noah Funk. He takes it the other way. South Christian survives a thriller. 32-29. Both teams are now 3-1. Let's head down M6 to Granville, where the Bulldogs were looking to beat East Kentwood for the 5th straight season. We were scoreless through one quarter when Jaden Terry hits his best John Cena impression. Tank says, "You can't see me." 2-point conversion makes it 8 Rip Dogs, but Falcons would answer. Elize Conda takes the handoff, shows what he can do. His touchdown and the 2-point conversion ties it at 8. Didn't stay that way for long. Granville doesn't pass often, but Carson Kopko can make it happen through the air. He finds Eason Sadinsky for a 54-yard pitch and catch. Touchdown Bulldogs, 14-8. EK punting on the next drive. Avon Cott gives a return that would make even Devin Hester proud. He gets it down to the 1-yard line on this return. Tank Terry is going to take it in on the very next play for 6. And that is going to make it 21-8 Bulldogs at that point. Falcons looking for something before the half, but Casey Joppy is going to get picked by Reed Graverson. Granville improves to 3-1 tonight with a 43-28 win over EK.
13 on Your Sidelines MVP of the Week, sponsored by Rant Insurance.
It's almost time to introduce you to tonight's 13 on Your Sidelines MVP of the Week.
But first, let's give you a look at the nominees and what they did 1 week ago to earn a shot at the crown. 3 games are down in 2023, and the competition only continues to get better each and every week around West Michigan. So let's meet our 4 Week 3 MVP candidates. Our first MVP candidate was spending most of his time in the end zone on Friday night. Hamilton running back Ben Bain scored 5 rushing touchdowns for the Hawkeyes against Fruitport. The senior totaled 151 yards on 13 carries to help beat the Trojans 44-20. Bain's big night is a big reason the Hawkeyes are 3-0 for the first time since 2016. Candidate number 2 had quite the game at Hausman Field. Zeeland East quarterback Austin Kerr combined for 5 total touchdowns on Friday, 3 with his legs and 2 with his arm in the 63-27 takedown of Grand Rapids Union. The Chicks have already surpassed their point total from last season, and their senior leader has helped lead the charge to a 3-0 start. Our next MVP candidate has shown up on this list a few times before. Whitehall quarterback Kyle Stratton continues to dominate. The Vikings senior tossed 4 touchdown passes and ran in another as he combined for 5 touchdowns on 375 total yards of offense in the 56-26 victory over Hastings. It's the second week in a row Whitehall put up 50-plus points, and that's thanks to Stratton. The fourth and final MVP candidate for Week 3 was Mr. Clutch on Friday night. Northview quarterback Armon Irving came up big for his team when they needed it most. The only junior on this list threw a late touchdown in regulation, and then another in overtime, and another after that in double OT. In all, Irving recorded 4 touchdowns on 223 total yards in Northview's 35-34 double overtime win over Greenville. The Wildcats are now 3-0 for the first time since 2011.
The vote this week was about as close as it could possibly get, Jamal.
You know, we received more than 4,000 votes, and somehow Armon Irving edged out Hamilton's Ben Bame by 6 votes. More than 4,000 people voted. 6 votes was the difference. Armon Irving, the winner. Congratulations on your MVP award. I got to ask about that game last week, playing in a double overtime thriller. You know, what's it like when, you know, every play could mean so much, and it's just got to be pretty cool playing in a game like that, right?
Yeah, it was. But we were down 14-0 at halftime, and we just had the mentality that, you know, that can't defeat us going into the next half. So we had to come out and execute, and that's what we did.
I was looking at that touchdown in double overtime. It looked like you almost tripped. Did you almost trip? How did you stay on your feet?
I did trip, but I just tried to catch myself. But, you know.
Did you have a favorite touchdown from that game?
I think it was right after halftime. It was like an 85-yard touchdown.
Oh, yeah, that's not bad. Not bad.
You said this is your second year starting as quarterback. You know, I know not a lot of people get that opportunity as a sophomore. What lessons have you learned at the position kind of this year as a junior, as you're taking control of this team?
I think probably just maturing as a quarterback, you know, learning new things from last year to this year and, you know, taking that on.
Obviously, strong start for your team this year. How do you feel like the team is rolling so far this season, 2023?
We're doing pretty good right now. We're at 3-1 with the loss against Lowell, you know, but we're putting that behind us and, you know, moving on to the next week against East, so.
We're actually going to talk about that game. Might have given a little bit away. You know, things like you said might not have gone the way you wanted to.
Yeah.
First little taste of adversity for this football team. How do you guys bounce back? Try not to let this one beat you more than once.
I probably think it's just a mentality that, you know, the game didn't go as we wanted it to, but we have to come into practice this week, you know, like not with that, oh, we lost mentality. So, yeah.
Awesome. Congrats on this MVP. That's a win.
Armon.
Earned that one for sure. Now tonight, like we said, Armon and the Wildcats trying to end a 4-game losing streak against Lowell.
Tonight we'll tell you if Northview was able to defeat those Red Arrows at home. And
West Catholic looked to stay undefeated as they made a trip to Hudsonville to take on Unity Christian.
Congratulations.